Got an ABUS 83 CS55 ABUS rock. It's I don't know the keyway here, but key does work. It's key retaining. There is the bitting on the key. Not too nasty, but we don't need no stinking keys. Now this lock has mostly spools. I made a T-pin and put it all the way in the back on pin 5. And that T-pin adds to the difficulty quite a bit. Got pin 1. Two, 3, 4. Make sure everything's up. Pin 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're on pin 5 where the T-pin is, I believe. And we have big rotation on the core. Great big false set. All right. Have to switch to a Peterson's gem to get a little bit of height to bounce on pin 5. Got to locate it. It's a very deep cut. And that T-pin I made from a factory part off of the sear mechanism on a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield when I swapped out the parts for it to Apex parts. Chucked it up in a drill, milled it down a little bit. And this T-pin is a bear. There we go. We have an open. Took long enough. Go ahead and get this thing. Now this lock, before I added that T-pin, could be picked in literally just a few seconds. If you guys can see that little Z-shaped piece here, that's what makes it key retaining. This little piece here. But we don't need that right now. We'll go ahead and lock it back up since I do have a key. And try to pry this thing open here. I probably should have had this circlip removed for the sake of time on the video, but take this tailpiece off. That's kind of essential when you go to gut it. And because I have a key, now there is a little bit of a trick to getting this apart here, because you have this pin in the back that's got to be pushed in order to push the core out. Now this lock does have master wafers. Trying to avoid a gutting disaster here. Might just dump them here and then move them over. Nothing too fancy about the core. No counter milling or anything. Just a standard ABUS core. And here we see the 37 patented 83 series. And here we've got a spool on pin stack 2. Pin stack 3 has a spool. Pin 1's just a standard. You typically need one standard in a lock. To keep the core from binding up when you're inserting your key. And there I found a master wafer in the Bible that I had set on pin stack 4. That master wafer was in the Bible with that spool. And here we can get a view of the T-pin that I made. I don't know if you can see that well. Camera's not really cooperating. I really have the worst of luck trying to record. Pretty nasty little bugger here. I left a little bit of a serrated edge on the tip of that T-pin. And that's it for that. Nothing really inside of here really to write home about. Go ahead and reassemble this. This T-pin was a little bit of a challenge to get back in there, but mainly because I have very old eyes. I just don't see good anymore. Trying to work around the camera is a little bit of a pain here. The lighting in here kind of sucks as well. A little bit of a bear to see it. For those of you that might be new to this, when you insert your pin, if you'll push your plug against the pin and pin it in there, it makes it easier to stuff it down. Just release tension a little bit as you push that plug follower forward. Now we'll turn our plug to line up with our pin stacks here. Get under this one here. So that's going to be pin stack 1. Put that little master doohickey back in there. Pin stack 2. They do make professional tools that make this go a little bit easier on these master wafers, but I've just done it this way so long that it's kind of second nature. Trying to line that up. All right. Now, the tricky part on these, again, is this spring-loaded pin detent. So when you go to put it back together, that detent has to be pressed in with your fingernail or some tool or something, and then you just drive it home. Rotate that core back to the locked position. Now you'll notice there's a groove in this in the bottom, and that the taller piece goes away from that spring detent so that it sits flush on top like that. Next, we'll take our circlip and just lay him right on top, and you're gonna give him a little push with your back of your tweezers. Make sure that tail piece is out of the way. Now there is a little nib on the circlip that engages with a slot in the top of that core. So you want to make sure you line that up properly. It's not too terrible. And now there is 2 different ways of doing this, and one way is definitely the wrong way. But if you install this the wrong way, don't get discouraged. It'll be all right. Now we're going to balance this on there, and we're just going to carefully guide him home. And then you will need your key. And one way to tell if you have it wrong, turn your key and it won't turn, it won't operate. So that tells us that I've probably put him in the wrong position. So I'll flip him over and put him on the other way. Now if you have some sort of manual or something, it might make this a little bit easier. or if you've done it a lot. Now you notice it wouldn't click in until I turned the key slightly. That put it in the correct position. Now I could turn the key all the way clockwise and it will not let me turn the key to pull it out. That means you're in the correct position. Go ahead and tighten up our screw. And when you close the padlock shackle, that key should rotate to where you can pull it out. Looks like I've successfully put it back together. I'm really glad I didn't screw that up on camera. You guys have a good day. Enjoy.